Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Scott.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, the people of this nation are very worried. They're very concerned about this trade war. Make no mistake about it. Both Democrats and Republicans are very much worried about it. Now, I really want you to listen very carefully to me, because there is no state that could be so devastatingly impacted on this than my beloved state of Georgia. Let me explain to you how. Let's take the fact that poultry, for example. Georgia is the leading producer of poultry in the world. And according to our National Chicken Council and leading chicken producers like Tyson's Food, they've informed me that in 2014, for example, U.S. chicken exports to Mexico, one of our most important markets alone, totaled $800 million. But during the same period, Mr. Secretary, Brazil's exports went up from $50 million to $200 million. If we continue to put up these trade barriers in Mexico, it is clear as a bell to anybody looking at this that they will take even much more of the market, leaving American chicken farmers and producers out in the cold. Let's go to another one. Let's take aluminum, for example. In Georgia, we have massive users of aluminum, manufacturers. And it's not just Georgia, but all across the nation. Imagine, go into a grocery store and just look at how much of our food, our beverages, are contained in aluminum cans. Can you imagine the impact that that will have? I want to go to another point, our pecans. Did you know that half of the pecan production in Georgia is exported to China, in which we are in the middle of? And Georgia produces 1/3 of all the pecans in the United States. I want you to have that. I want you to recognize Georgia. I want you to tell the president how damaging this will be to Georgia businesses, Georgia farmers, Georgia manufacturers, and not only that, to the employees. Because when the aluminum manufacturers come in, that's going to be a 1-to-18 ratio in loss of jobs. Now, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, let me just ask you this. My question is this to you. Are you prepared? Are you ready to be the one who will take full responsibility as the Treasury Secretary in charge when Georgia and this nation inevitably enters into this high inflationary rate? Who's going to pay for this increase? It's the Georgian American consumers going to do that. What about the loss of jobs in manufacturing? It's going to be the American people. You say, well, the economy is moving on all cylinders. I agree with you, but what I'm curious about is the cavalier attitude this administration has of the loss of jobs, of the impact on this, the side effects while we're riding on this sugar high. And so I want to just ask you this question. Are you ready to assume full responsibility of the downside when the darkness comes? Are you ready to take full responsibility?
I am, and I share your concerns. And as I've said, we are not taking this lightly. We are monitoring all these specific issues carefully. We are concerned about the job losses on the areas that you've impacted.
And you understand the real outside impact this is going to have on our people in Georgia. I want to make sure, because we are going to be paying close attention. Now, in the Senate, someone mentioned this, But the Senate passed a resolution 88-11. The resolution was largely symbolic, but it said that there may be and should be an expanded congressional role in overseeing the tariff decisions. And I'm concerned, do you support this?
I do not.